It's 5 after 6 in the morning. 11 hours left to make a few scalps in the market. So I've been laying scalps in here. And I'm going to define a scalp as trying to make anywhere from 5 to 20 pips. That's a scalp for a swing trader, I suppose, is 20 pips. If you're trying to make 80 pips, if you can make 20 pips on some type of scalp, I'm assuming that's going to be the wick, or that's going to be one candle, that's going to be an hour, could be 40 seconds. If the market spikes down, news comes out, I mean, if you've got your orders placed in a pocket, in a rectangle. So typically what you would do here is, there's a lot of Williams fractals on this, what do we got here? 30-minute chart, right? So there's a lot of signals, so to speak. And obviously, just the clunkiest kind of analysis, we're just going to let the robot find that extreme example turnaround. And we're going to call that support. So, or people would say that, well, that's, if you look forward in time, if you knew what was going to happen after that, you'd consider that a pivot, But the range is pretty broad, and just on closing prices, if you were to only take, this would be the next filter, I'm only going to look at fractals that have a close right near it. So if we see a triangle, this triangle thing, little carrot thing, when we see that and the closing price is really close to that, we're like, holy God, that is insane. That is not only a turn in the wicks, it's a turn in closing prices. And that's a big deal because for whatever reason, the crowd or the the general amount of people trading that. And notice that I got a 5-pip grid here, is that in the euro dollar with a very tight spread. This 5-pip window is worth a lot of money to people that have very tight spreads, so they can trade that for the scalp. And if you just had scalps laid in here, and you're only buying a 15-pip window here, now this may look very extreme to you if you're on the 1-minute chart when this happens, like you're going to end up, working for the Peace Corps. Work for the CIA, because everything's a question. See, the revisiting this now, I assume at this point that the order block people should be aware of this one. I'm going to call this an order block. I'm going to call this inventory discrepancy. So you can come up with all sorts of names, vacuums, and all that. I like the vacuum thing because I like the breakout of volatility. So when the market starts to calm down, it gets into these ranges, right, that are quiet and pleasant. Pleasantries of life. Nobody burning down your house. This takes a long time to develop this lack of volatility on closing prices where the thing keeps on drifting. And here's Asia. So this would be the first breakout of Asia down into the trap. So this little mini vac here. And I saw this trade last night. I thought, that's a nice buy. If you go to the 1-hour chart, it's a nice, clean, obvious buy. Kind of low risk. If you start buying heavy into this in Asia, your stops can be 5, 10, 15, 20 pip stops. If you're trying to make 40 pips and double your money, and you just build a position here every 30 minutes, okay, so you're going to trade heavier on the 30-minute chart. And by the way, I'm buying on limits only here. So I'm going to buy this pocket all morning. I don't know what's going to happen, but if we get one of these wackadoodle smash and grabs, we're going to get filled up. I'm only down 42 cents right now. I'm up 42 cents. I'm only in at 20K, 18K maybe. Trading very lightly because U.S. markets haven't opened yet. And the stock market can come ripping down and everything can go ripping. I think it's going to be very easy for range traders, especially, when Bitcoin hits 64,000 and it's down 20,000 from that high. Unbelievable, right? But that's a range that people can trade now. And actually, they could have traded the range on the way to that, anyways. For the guy that can make a money in 6 hours because of a spike, and this is the half-hour chart. So imagine you've got this big bank of, you got 20K here, a 30K, a 40K. Some of this 40K is going to, maybe this whole 40K scalps right to the floor, trying to make that. So you can play scalps. You don't have to babysit for a scalp. These are all limit. I'm talking pure limit right now. Now, granted, I did say here, if you're a buyer, every time it's oversold, it's oversold, it's oversold, you're buy. Okay, it's 5K. It's 5K. You got limits here. Another 5K. You're in 10K. And you could have cashed the whole thing out here, and everyone's a winner. All the stuff you bought in the vacuum on limits. Now, I'm saying now, at this point, I'm buying here at the market, but I'm not. Because I know that I'd rather trade the price. And if at the bottom of the hour, it's still down here, I will pull the trigger. So, but I've already filled on limits, so, what if I wanted to get a little bit bigger? Now I could nibble at it. Every 5 minutes I could buy a little bit. I could be like, oh, this is one of those classic setups, look at this. The flexibility is there. So I know people can't believe that you can make this much money. I've never traded bigger than a 1K, and I've made $7,000 on this account. Never traded with bigger than a 1K. So there's times that I was kind of pissed off. So my anger trading, like this plunge here, boom, 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 boom. If you're here to babysit it, or sell, right? Here comes the news, everybody loves it, everybody hates it. Does it ever come back to here? No. So that trade yesterday, I cashed out here, and then I came back in, and they ripped this thing down. Now, a lot of people were maybe surprised by that, but did you really think they weren't going to go after? And this would be the you call them order blocks. Dude, this is just liquidity down here. The fucker comes into that window. Bye-bye. People scalp to the floor and then rip. Now, it did not take out this, granted. Didn't do that. But, you know the thing. What do I got to fucking tell you now? I mean, there's a new standard out there. It's called, the thing. We don't have to fucking make sense anymore. I'm up $2, by the way. So, if it gets to here, you know what? I cash out, I could cash out. Now, here I did put a highly risky, I suppose. I'm going to start selling before we even get near this fractal. But these guys last 4 hours. And if I'm long into that, and I can pluck these off too, I don't have to do that trade. So it's just ticket management, I suppose. Trade management, money management is really what I'm doing. The tickets are there to save me. Like, I know I want to buy this if it plunges. So this broker's letting me put just psychotic amount of tickets in. Hugo doesn't give a fuck. I think I must be able to run. I'm not kidding. They let me run about on these 1Ks, and they're very fast execution. The only thing is with this broker, you cannot be in this broker past 4 o'clock. Like, this is a day trading broker. If you hold, unless you're swing trading, because the spreads go to on the pound, would go to 10 pips into the weekend or so. You're just going to get clobbered, right? Because it's some true liquidity. It's not fixed, and the brokers every broker has a different way of giving you the price. So if you're really on the true exchange, yeah, there's going to be nobody for the other side of the trade, like for that. The spread's wide to let you know that there's no volume. It's obvious. Come on. So yeah, everybody wants to trade when there's, and right, that's another just mind blowing thing. People get, why is it so quiet in Asia? Because there's no fucking buddy trading. Why is the spread so shitty? Because there's nobody trading. There's nobody tugging on the rope. So I'm going along the euro here, just on this little baby position. And of course, we're not going to make the kind of money we would if we just bought really heavy there at the top of the hour when we were down. We were down on the close, and everything's oversold, and this breakout, and there's one more, and we take out the high of the day, which in this case, I'm selling into the high of the day, right? It's okay. It's going to be okay. But let me get rid of my objects there. It's kind of making it odd. So at this point, I'm above water on every ticket. So do I get out, right? This is the big, I could cash out right now. I could make $3, reduce all my exposure. I think this is the only trade I'm in, and get out. I think I might be in the pound. See, the pound had picked up a buy here. So let me get out of this pound trade. Because I put buy limits here to pick up the possible spike Rooney. But this is a whole nother, if you're really going to focus all your attention and make money playing one song at a time, and you can't play two songs at a time, in a sense, to really get perfect execution. And that's all I'm doing is executing. So I took off that winner, because the market pulled back into this. Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to plunge. I put the plunge team in here of limits. And here, I would be selling up into this, but I can't focus on all this shit at once. And look at this, like here's the crude oil trade, right? Could you have sold up here? Yeah, you should have sold up here, right? If a basket of tickets, a big fucking monster bank of tickets up here, it's the obvious fucking trade. I talked about that. Now, you'd have to load the wagon on that. In a sense, not load the wagon, but you didn't even have to really, in one day you made X. Because you sold a double top. I think there's resistance. Granted, this is a $10 resistance window, but come on, man. Even Biden could fucking do this trade. Gee, it's almost like it's resistance from over here. Yo, you noticed that too, huh? But that doesn't matter. That doesn't even matter. That's not the reason for the trade for me. I'm selling, like, if I was a crude trader, my first trade plan is sell limits, just canvas this fucking area. I don't know who the fucking, so if you're going to sell stuff door to door, you canvas the whole neighborhood. First, you do a look to see if people are crackheads before you try to sell them crack. This is the kind of shit that goes on. And then you go, oh, look at this is a hot spot. Oh, that's crazy. It must be the kill zone. Or the fucking, oh, I noticed the high of the day here, the high of the month, Would I put a sell bank up here? Why not? But that strategy is unavailable to somebody that's looking at fucking moving averages. Because they're never going to think about, why would I sell up there? I'll wait till it gets up there and I'll get a sell signal from my fucking robot. Or I get, so this style of trading is the key. And the next thing is the execution. Even though you may think, well, that's a really good thing. I back tested it. I finally feel safe. I think I'm going to launch my robot. That doesn't even go to the other issues that you can turn your robot off because you get scared. The robot starts doing shit. You're like, I didn't want it to do that. So the psychology of it is going to come into the major part. Because unfortunately, you're trying to make money. Although it is a game of pure price. And is that price ever going to be seen again? Because we can't execute, we can't get into the market unless, like the jump rope, I guess I call it jump rope theory. I just invented that. So, you've got the white line is a jump rope. You're a swing trader. You got to fucking get your timing, wait for your indicators to catch up to get on that wave. If you're going to go out and surf the waves on a surfboard. Like, dude, gnarly waves. Yeah, no shit. So that kind of fucking volatility, if you know how to surf a insane wave, you're that guy. And then you should just be able, the next key is that, do it on a demo, of course, right? Always get a stunt, get an inflatable doll. You never do stuff that you might be embarrassed about. Always test it out in a mocked up situation. And then once you get the mocked going, then you can, all right, you know what? I feel like, okay. Because you got to get leverage on the idea that it's okay to, of course, if you babysit the market without even, just, it's so funny because all you got to do is take a demo account. You couldn't do this in the old days. You could not take a demo account with fake money and do all these ridiculous trade plans. It's impossible. Plus, you didn't have leverage. I mean, you had to fucking buy real stocks, like you buying these stocks that are going for how much? Like, who has one Bitcoin? Are you fucking nuts? It just pulled back 20,000. From stem to stern, right? That's the range trade. There's some guy out there that goes, dude, we shorted into that. Yeah, there's a guy that's went long into that because just before that, there's a guy I watched called Mr. Obvious. He had the most fucking, you got to see this video. I should post it in the Discord thing. You got to see this thing. It's fucking hilarious. He's got this ridiculous rainbow fucking woke ass chart. You can't fucking believe it. And I thought if he's talking about it, wow, how it's going to go to $1 million. And are you fucking nuts? I don't give a fuck if that fucking address, that web address on my fucking transfer, it doesn't mean shit, dude. It's not worth anything. I wish it was a fucking currency. The dollar's stable as fuck. It moves in a 10-pip window. Look at a fucking Bitcoin. Are you nuts? Are you fucking nuts? Oh, yeah, it's going to be the wave of the future. Yeah, you know what? Okay. I can't wait to see that. I got to see that. I can't wait to be proven wrong. Reality sets in sometimes, it's crazy. Just saying. But yeah, I could be totally wrong. The more I think about it, the more pissed off I get. Because I think it's so funny. But it's just, it goes to speak about people that have never lived through the Depression, so to speak. The people that talk about, I remember when I had to kill my neighbor to eat his dog. And the old days. But it is funny how people just love the primal lifestyle, And I think the demasking is really going to be, man, it's nice to have a normal life of, we're back to mass shootings and everything. I love that. That's the nice thing about the coronavirus, to put a pause on even people wouldn't shoot up a mall. They're like, I don't think I want to get corona shooting up that mall, but man, now that things are looking better, I think I'll drive my fucking SUV right into the front of a building. I don't know if you saw that one, but yeah, the news comes pretty fast and furious. It's like a fast market. And fast means volatility because, you know what? It's not that the price went up. It went up 80 pips. It went up 80 pips in 8 minutes. It's a completely different situation. And people like a nice calm market. The trend traders like it to be nice, smooth trend, right? They don't want to see these fucking whipsaws, these stop hunts, so to speak, because they're running too tight a stop. Because but let's just assume there are people running tight stops, and there's robots that are managing money so tightly that if they're down a little bit, they're out. And this is people sifting the market. It's also from the scalping side, right? Scalping robots are just trying to make 8 pips and only lose 3. If you do that all day long consistently, all of a sudden you're making money, Even if the slippage is 2 pips, and you're making 5 and your stop is X, but you got to be right. Your hit rate has to go up. The more that you put in these trades that will lose 18 pips to make 10. Now, losing 18 to make 10 means you're really risking 20 with the spread. I'm going to put the spread at 2, which just includes the worst case scenario. You should probably put a spread. Like if you're testing some robot, give it a spread of 5 and see how it does. If it can make money a spread of 5, then it's fucking can handle the news. It can handle slippage. You can leave it on all the time. But I think in the end, hand placed orders is going to definitely blow away the or just being able to think. Now you could run a robot right now. I could run one here on the euro that's just going to keep putting in a heavier bank of tickets constantly. So I put a hand placed limits here. Now they're crushing it back, and we could just come zipping down here, and that's what I'm kind of hoping on. So I'm only 20K. I want to get into 100K here. That's my target today, is to pick up 50 to 100K. We smack down. It's 6:30 in the morning. Here comes the goobers are coming in at 9:30. The stock market, stocks be tanking into this whole, and I'm just trading the euro, so life's a little bit less stressful. Now, I know some people want to trade the NASDAQ and all that with the hairy ass margin requirements, but I'm just not that guy. So I could do it, and I did it that one time live, and I was like, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like kind of like I guess I'm just too old. Or I don't know if I could handle that even. Maybe I could have. Maybe I would have. It's like shredding on guitar. Maybe you want that kind of excitement. But I prefer just to sit back and lazily make X. And the Bitcoin's a fascination because it's just, you just have to ask yourself, what is the fucking intrinsic value of that? And the people that could put cold storage on their coins, and it's a mob. So I saw this guy. I just think it's the most amazing filter I've ever seen in my life is the market. All the fucking experts, all the modelers, all the projectors. These are the same fuckers that project COVID deaths and freak people's shit out, so they got a fucking mask duct taped to their face all 24/7. So you got to understand, when you see these prices, you're like, what? I mean, the Dow Jones at some astronomical price, dude. I'm telling you, real estate is going to be, obviously Bill Gates is like, yeah, real estate. Come on, look at these fucking farms. Destroyed by the government, here, we'll pay you not to grow. You're getting all fucking high in our supply. And, all these, but the government's always a lag. The government's like a moving average of shit on the whole world, Well, we know that. I mean, the people that, guys that buy penny stocks are going, dude, look at this fucking stock. Are you kidding? It's like that's been going on for years, dude. I mean, this idea that get rich in Bitcoin. Okay. When it was at 10 grand and it pulled back 5 grand, did you blow up your account? I mean, there's people that got annihilated. It's not a fucking, it doesn't move in one direction all day long. The monthly chart is hiding all of the volatility that lives on the smaller time frames. So if you're trading in this window now, the closer you get to that spread, it becomes almost unless you're so good at trading, you have to trade a lot. So there's not many trades per week from a 20 pip to 80 pip winning strategy. If you're going to make 20 to 80 pips, you're going to maybe see depending on the day, of course. Now, when the markets are insane and you have a trade plan for that, that's when you can trade that. But your trade plan has to fit the volatility. So you can't come into the market and expect to make 100 pips with a 5 pip stop. Even though that trade exists on the chart, I could show it to you in some order block bullshit entry. But are you trading that fucking heavy on that ticket all the time, all day? Is that your trigger set to that? Now, it is a war to me, but I'm shooting 22s. I just have a lot of guns. I have a lot of bullets. I have a lot of scopes, and I'm always shooting the same size, which means it's cheaper per bullet. I don't have to be as accurate. Now, if you're going to get out your, precision laser thing, yeah, you're going to make sure you wait, you do sniper shit setup. I ain't doing that. I'm just going to let the market come to me. It's an if-then statement. If it goes down here, I will buy. I don't have to babysit it. I got no market orders here to worry about today. It's Friday, so we could get the spikes down, it rips up, and even if they stop me out of some of these tickets, and by the way, I'd be buying, I just bought at the market on my real money here, but on this demo, I'm actually going to trade better. I don't trade this big, I'm not in this big on my real money yet. So I'm waiting for another smackdown. I want to get into like a standard lot. So here I'm only in, and I just picked up a few K here and didn't even have to pull the trigger. Didn't even have to look how they just stop hunted that. And it's just, this is really the way to trade, in my opinion, is on limits. Because it just takes the guesswork out. There ain't no guesswork. We all see the vacuum. We all see the pullback. We all saw the sell window. Now, I did sell above here this morning. I came in and I had to go underwater. Sure, I sold into here. But when I got to here, I had so many tickets, and I could make an argument for why I have tickets there by going to the 15-minute magical 15-minute order blocks. And, of course, this window here revisited. You could make all sorts of claims about, well, here's the internal, here's the first kind of like where everybody scalps out, right? They make it back, and then it goes zipping through, and I don't think this price matters anymore. So this bottom, to me, doesn't matter anymore. It's inconsequential. The only consequence there is that it was a pivot, but it was destroyed by this. So this is the new normal. This makes it easier for me to trade because now my only filter is to look at the this window. I gotta get rid of these objects. Okay, so the window here is my only criteria. Anything above this Williams fractal, this is the lonely wick, I call that. Lonely wick theory. And I'm just going to sell like a pig above that. Now, the capture window here becomes every 15 minutes I'm selling at the market. If I'm not filling enough orders, and I'm picking this window all the way to the top there, so it's quite a bit to get involved in there. Now I'm buying the pullback as we dip below here, but now this becomes the new, it just keeps changing every, whenever, anything below this fractal. So that fractal is written in stone. I think if we close out this candle here, that fractal could go away though. We got to get 2 bars past that for these confirmation traders. You got to get, so... All right, that's written in stone, that fractal. We cannot change that because we got that. I think that's locked in, or is that going to change to here? Anyways, I'm going to just, my version of a fractal is just any wick that's lower than the previous. It'd be a lower low followed by a higher low. I mean, that kind of stuff. This is a 15-minute chart also, so this is very high-frequency trading, but we definitely want to buy, I'm going to call that a fractal for me, and this is not, neither is this. So any kind of turning, there's no turn there. Here's a turn, so there's one, and this is a turn. Unless we take this out, this is a turn, so we want to buy here. I'm sure this is a nice... beautiful RSI setup, more oversold at a higher price, so it's bigger down, but the price is higher. And this is your only sell today from a closing standpoint. As it drifts up, you sell and you make X pips, but you got to figure, well, now what do we do, right? I'm still going to buy more on this, new lows, and we got just limits galore sitting here for the next 4 hours. So you can do whatever you want to do, and if this trade works out, it's beautiful. Now, I don't think I put in anything past 8 hours on any of my charts, so I know that if I can't get to the chart in 8 hours, if I actually slept 8 hours in a row and never woke up, I could rest assured that even if I lose my internet connection, that there will be no exposure to my account because all these tickets are just going to evaporate. So that's the consideration of the risk and logical risk because, if I put the orders out there and they last, you can make a 12-hour script and you can make a 1 day or 1 week. Your exposure to getting just blown apart goes way up because we're probably going to hit those prices in a couple days, maybe. And at that point, based on all the terrain that's been laid out by the market's previous price clearinghouse sales, where we go up, make new highs, crush back, make monthly, and Bitcoin just made a 2 month, took out the low from a month ago. First time, first breakout on the Bitcoin from a monthly standpoint. Although it's a fake out, it's a scalp window, it did tag that breach into that vacuum on the monthly, which is a big deal. So a lot of people look at that and they go, "Look at it, it's just falling apart, man. It's taken out support." But support and resistance can be tested like either once, twice, 4 times. I mean, sometimes consolidations go on for years. I mean, this is why robots can't trade the market, because they're like, "What the fuck is this? Sideways for 5 years? We should have wrote a range bot. What were we thinking, right?" So if you're really going to manage a fund, you need a scalp bot. This is why the people that run these trade rooms, they find a scalper and okay, let them scalp, but don't try to get them to swing trade it. So you use everybody's talent, and of course, if you're going to be multiple faceted, you're going to have be able to swing trade and scalp, and maybe you got some but being able to get to the market's the thing. So these are all limit orders, so I don't have to worry about getting there on time. But some people don't like the idea of not being there to see their baby being born, right? Let me see that. Let me see. I want to cut the cord on the kid. Not necessary, right? So you just have to trust and believe that, okay, that's going to be a better price down there. If they keep smashing it, this hands-off approach. But psychologically, you're really a bystander to your trade plan, and it's not. You don't feel like, if you're a person that's used to driving the car, it's going to be tough because you really put yourself in the back seat of the car, right? You became your own Rosa Parks. You put yourself in lockdown. When they had the lockdown, I thought, I don't notice a difference. I've always locked myself down in the house, staying away from all the ridiculous fucknuts out there. I mean, come on, man. You go to the store. Every time I go to the store and somebody's in line in front of me, I'm like, did you not know you were fucking coming here? Like, you gotta fucking be digging for your money? What happened to you? I mean, I know people that, I know this isn't like, it's like first time to the store? Well, I gotta dig yeah. Yeah, that's why I want that fucking, put a chip in your fucking forehead. We'll just scan you. We'll put it on your bill. Get the fuck out of here. You stand too long in line, man. People bringing all this shit, not even marked with a price. What'd you think was going to happen, bitch? You brought up a priceless item? Like a price check, aisle fucking 89.2. So, Bill Gates is going to go, he's going to do a service pack on his, they got that service pack on the Johnson & Johnson. Service pack 5. Hey, you lose a few hormones on this thing. So this is just, okay, so I got about as much as I wanted here. I could have pulled the trigger and bought a little bit more there. Once again, 15-minute chart, even more trading. Oh, look at this fucking pullback here if you're babysitting that. Now, you'd have to be there to pull the trigger on that. Granted, this is a big problem with all these robots people run them. They're like, yeah, as if, right? Now, the robot's supposed to take and do that trade for you. But I don't think that robot has a target that's like, I guess I run a trailing stop, right? But how many times you get this beautiful pullback? And this is a doji. Are we going higher? There's still plenty of inventory here to go clearing out. And there was a guy that scalped that, I suppose. Maybe in the 5, made that scalp. But we're kind of swing trading. I guess we're just doing this last trade of the week here, trying to make if we can make $40, which would be 10 pips, that'd be good, right? So it's very light trading right now. I must say I'm probably risking very little amount of the account. So when I started out the account, since there was $5,000 in there, I just went fucking nuts, right? Because it's about money. But once you get the account up to like 20 grand, actually trade it lighter and just trade it like barely trading it, right? So people say they trade for a living. Then, well, how much are you trying to draw on the account after you work so hard to stay awake at 5 a.m. or 3 a.m. and trade that smash like this pullback here? Worth a lot of money. So trading that pullback and then coming in here and going long, you're going to go from bearish to bullish, but I don't look like I'm not looking to bias. I don't have a bias. I just say, well, I want to sell because we're coming into that window. Plus, at the end of 4 hours, if you go to the 4-hour chart. So to go through what you would do to make these small amount of pips, 20 to 40 to 60 to 10 pips, is you're going to have to find the chart that gives you that opportunity. So here, if you were sitting here at 5 o'clock in the morning, right here, that is 5 o'clock in the morning. So I started selling above this lonely wick, and this is the 1-hour chart, which is probably a great place for somebody that wants to trade just 5 trades a day, right? Because if you're going to see a setup, you got 24 bars here. There's at least 3 trades a day, and actually, I'm not going to say this is a trade because you could have a stack of, on this broker, you could have 300K stacked in here. You start selling here on one case, and by the time you get to here, you could sell 3 standard lots here. By here, it progressively and sell. But you linear martingale, you just keep selling, right? You're not doubling the position. You just have orders every X pips. And when it comes back to here, when it first breaches here, you could get out and make X. And these guys are losers. So who's a loser? If you wait long enough on this 1 hour crush, I call it a crush up, maybe piling into this void. And the void's been forming for quite a while. And I'm sure everybody was aware that this was the high of the day also. It might be the news event, obviously some kind of bullshit. Jobs report, some bullshit. And, okay, so I just bought some at the market. For me, not for this account, because I'm just showing what this pure limit here, although I can see that this is probably a good buy because 1 hour hard down into here. I mean, what is the chance, right? We have buy limits placed because we're trying to capture the stop on buy here. Got buy limits here, all the way down. So I'm selling above here, and actually this is right where people are like, well, you know what? We just made you only made 5 pips. If you started selling here, you made 7 pips. If you survived that one ticket, you had a wide enough stop to be able to take that punishment. See, I work for the CIA. I have 2 mommies, and I'm just saying. All right, I gotta delete these objects. I don't turn my voice up at the end. Jesus Christ, what a fucking! You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, I work for the alphabet companies. This is prime real estate to sell. Will we see that today? Maybe. So in 8 hours, the 8-hour tickets live up here. Here, I'm aggressively selling into this because I think these last 4 hours, and the scenario needs to be ripped to here and kind of failure swing right. So if you're trying to make that, and I'm putting in 12 pip stops to make 8 pips on some of these banks up here. It's nuts. I can't believe this broker lets me put these many tickets in. I'm going to say 1,000 tickets at least. 1,000 tickets. I think so. So I'm happy to just make it to here, and we don't get filled on the sell side, but we could play both sides towards the middle. And this is all presupposing that you're going to lay all these tickets in. So my volatility bot that I dream of is that, or just me having to do it manually, no big deal. Actually, I think it's better to go manually and put orders in at this logical zone. Here are 2 sell limits to capture this. A 1 hour chart gives you X amount of things, And buy heavily down here, right? So why buy really heavy today down here if something happens? I don't know if there's any news, but if you can imagine this market dropping, you have that little bit of imagination. Could this market drop down here in 1 hour? If it does, now the news comes out and we've seen these moves. And we start shearing off here like just, there's so much liquidity piled up and there's a wedge there of just psycho liquidity, right? We all know that. I assume we all know that by now. Watching it be raided, right? So they raid this window here above this lonely wick and then rip down, and you can trade both sides towards back to fair value. Get out. You don't have to ride it to the other side. I mean, in a perfect world, you sold here, you bought here, and then here in the middle, when it came back to the middle, you just went flat. And that's, that's a beautiful scenario. And you can do the same trade plan here, but it's a narrower trade plan, isn't it? I mean, if you put a buy limit here, no fill. It didn't fill. And that's why Williams isn't pointing this one out, but on the half hour, I'm sure this is a buy window here. But maybe this is where your stop is. That's a good ratio. You're risking, let's say, 10 pips. And you made like 20 pips. Not bad. That's pretty fucking good. But you have to know when the party's over, because otherwise, you're not gonna. They didn't stop you out. They didn't stop you out. And some people do have algorithms that say, well, you know what? I got a double bottom. I got in here. But what I'm seeing now, as I look at this thing and trade it, is that every nook and cranny matters. All vacuums matter. Because this one here is a prime buying real estate situation. I'm buying for a different reason than you, because you're buying because it's oversold. I'm just buying because it dropped into a 10 pip supply zone. We're both in the same trade for different reasons. I bought here on limits because I just was like, dude, if it comes back below this, I could be wrong, right? And I sold into that this morning for the scalp. But I was underwater going up into it. Climaxed. I had to know when the party's over. 1 hour. So here it's going to be a scalp. Some of these are going to cash out. I'll see my margin go down. Maybe I make $20 here. Now, when the stock market opens, this really is kind of risky, because on my real money, I'm selling above here. But on this one, I'm going to sell into it early. So I have a tandem account running. So I'm in that trade too. Hey, I'm in that trade too. Because to step outside of your comfort zone and start to try new techniques, you have them on the demo. In this way, you can psychologically flip back and forth between real money and demo money. Maybe you've only got $40 million in your real money account, and in the demo you got 20 grand, whatever. But it doesn't matter, because you got to have a fucking stunt guitar. You can't have. You have one guitar, right? But if you're professional, you got more than one guitar, because you're like, you got to cross train your hands, or you get cramps and you just get all fucked up, I think. But yeah, you got to cross train your brain too, so you got to keep your frontal lobe active and all that stuff. Cut down on the mouth. Don't do any stuff on the carpet that looks like Parmesan. Just try to keep try to keep a lid on it. Put a lid on it, like Biden's suggestion. You just put a fucking lid on it. In the morning, you get up and do a few scalps, go back to sleep. You'll be fine. You don't have to trade every fucking price balls. But yeah, we're going to come in U.S. Open here, and what's going to happen for the stock market? Wow, that thing is just really, I think it really rocked people's brains there. Of course, this is just the roaring 70s again. It's the volatility is going to just be beautiful here. And I can't wait to see what happens in the long run. Trump comes back to office. Especially, here's the thing about Bitcoin. The governments are supposedly going to come out with their own version of Bitcoin. And the whole idea of coin, I just remember, you can just look at these madness of crowds. Just look at the other kind of supposed nirvana instruments. Gold was supposed to go to what? Gold's just ticking around. Oh yeah, look, gold's making a little rally. Dude, gold should be fucking ripping its out the tops of the fucking all-time highs. You can actually use gold. Granted, it weighs more than Bitcoin. This idea that Bitcoin's a flash move. Okay, well but I'm still waiting for the aha moment of the mob to go, what were we doing there with that Bitcoin, by the way? It's a fucking... You can't eat it. You can't fucking... It's not even a gun. It's nothing. It's nothing. There's no really intrinsic value. It's not a Bolsendorfer piano. It's not a fucking high... It's not $1 million piano. It's not some fucking antique building. It's just not. It's not a piece of art. A piece of art's not gonna... be able to eat that for dinner, but you can light on a fire to keep warm a little bit. But I'm still waiting for that aha moment. It just amazes me, I guess it's the new kid on the block theory. I guess it's just this novelty. Once novelty wears off, it just reminds me of that, the romance phase of the relationship. Hey, you know what? You look good this morning. You don't look too bad. Normally your breasts fucking forget it, but you don't look too bad. At some point, people are just going to go. And you can see come back to and of course, at $20,000, if you scaled into Bitcoin, you put buy limits in every $1,000 all the way down to fucking zero. Sure, that trade, now that's, like I said, that's a planned out, that's a plan, man. That's a trade plan. Buying now on this pullback, all right, how much are you going to buy? Are you going to buy again if it pulls back? Because if you buy this pullback, the next pullback's just as good. I thought you were to buy a low guy. Now, if you're a buy low guy, there is no, if you loved it at 10, you're going to love it at 5, and at 2, you're going to marry it. And that's how you have to be. But you don't put your whole life savings in every fucking trade. And the people that, I became a millionaire on Bitcoin, well, okay. But maybe they give back $500,000 putting on some harebrained trade because they're so high on the euphoria of winning that's as bad as the blow your brains out, slam your fist, losing emotion, isn't it? And I'm sure there's people that have made on this Dogecoin and all that stuff. I realize the execution of that trade and the focus you need to, and how much funds you're going to allocate to that trade, and who's not kicking themselves because they only bought X. I should have bought more. They don't even like it when they win. See, this is the problem with humans, is they don't even like it when they win. God, maybe they do, but why would they go back and trade more? Oh, if I made $1 million, I'd just stop trading. Really? Maybe you lost $20,000 to make $1 million, so you're a trader. You're a fucking gambler. Anybody that bought Bitcoin for whatever reason, and there's people that bought it 20 grand and had to ride it down to 4 grand, or the fuck. It's not a straight line. Markets don't move in a straight line. They do in your projection minds. When people do their trade plans, they say, oh, the target's here. It's like as if on the way to that target, there'll be no fucking dumb shit turning off the pipelines. We just cashed out of something here. I just saw my margin go down. So we're coming into that sell window. And this could be a quick and dirty trade. It's also 5 minutes before the top of the hour. So I'm going to bum rush here. But, it's amazing. And it's just fascinating. And people could say, "Oh, you're right about that, wrong about that." Yeah, but that doesn't make money being right and wrong, or making the calls or trading the demo and putting on a. So yeah, if you're trade the demo because you don't want to lose real money, but it's really it's a real fucking event, because look at this chart here. Looking back on the 1 hour chart, look at yesterday. Holy shit! So I made money on that yesterday because that's my trade. My shit. My kind of canvassing an area works great on that. This is a trend day in a sense because we started off in Asia, we broke out, moved up this pullback, and maybe we complete into Friday. We kind of climax, and this would be a trend trader's dream here, nice. Oh, everything broke out. My signals say it's bullish today, and look, even the goobers making money today. Everybody makes money because instead of, don't forget, there's a guy that put a buy stop here today. When I had my sell limit, we both made money, right? Now he's up on the trade. He's like, you know what? I put a buy stop here. I don't know, that simpleton's full of shit, and he sells into that. I can't believe I put a buy stop here. And look, I'm in the trade. Target's way up here. That's wonderful. Now, if you did like a 1K, okay, well, where's your stop on that, by the way? Well, technically speaking, from the goober standpoint, your stop should be down here, and your target's probably going to be like a lofty target. And like I said, if you can handle that, waiting fucking 3 days to get paid on that, that's wonderful. But with that logic, why don't you have a buy stop here and a buy stop here? Why aren't you buying all these breakouts? Why are you waiting for this fucking daily breakout? And the guy that's coming up with this, and don't even, you can only imagine how complicated it would be if we were to throw a 20 EMA on this bitch and then use that for a fucking baseline filter. Are you fucking kidding me, right? Look at all the trades on here. I could go on for days on this fucking chart. It's just so stupid. Trade plan wise, though, that's the thing. How deep? Now I cash out right now. We just scalped onto something automatically here. Thank God, right? Because look, it could just rip down now. Look at the top of the hour. Look at the shenanigans from here to here. This 10-minute window, we could just go popping up here, which I'd love. And then we can get into a winning hedge where we're still short, we're still long, but we're still short. I don't even know where my targets are. I'm just trusting that I kind of know I've got all these different kinds of targets. This is the way we scale in, we scale out. We don't really feel the move that much. Not like the guy that's in 5 standard lots here on a buy stop here with a stop down here going, man, I hope this is a good trade. Last week we lost money. Yeah, no shit. So, you could zoom out here and take a little broader view. So my gear's giving me a fucking hard time today. This fucking microphone. I want to put a goddamn giant wrench on my microphone here. I don't have a wrench though, so I'm fighting with the mic stand. Okay, looks like we're going up. So I'm cashing out. We just cashed out of something. So that's the beauty right there. Look, we just reduced. We're about to cash out. If I do this by what's about to cash out, no, that's only 80 cents. But you got to understand, so I'm only going to make 80 cents on this trade, right? And some of these are going to make $1. Look at the Bitcoins flailing. Okay, let's go back to, I'm missing my chart. There we go. So it looks like a sell right now. Look at that 1 hour chart. Looks like a sell. I was just flipping around. We're cashing out something though. And that's the point. We're cashing out of something. Always got to take something off the table here. It's the top of the hour. 5 minutes we could just pop up. We could rip down though too. So a lot of people are cashing out here, I suppose, like me. But that was baked in the cake. I had a 5 pip, I had an 8 pip, and so the tighter your broker gives you, you can make a little bit more money, right? You can put a few more tickets in, and you can make a little bit more money with a tighter spread and all that stuff. And when you reduce your leverage, your broker's going to give you a uh, you know, tighter spreads. The more money you put in the account, the tighter the spread, because now they're using your money to trade other people's money now. Right? You're supplying. You're your own broker in a sense to them. You're going to help the other clients there that don't have leverage. And the more you can't trade 3,001 leverage when you get to like $1 million in the account, right? You keep cutting your leverage the bigger you trade. So the scalp it, the gold account's gonna, the leverage is low. Of course, they reduced all the leverage on these things, anyways, because they were blowing up the brokers. It's the brokers did that. The server wasn't fast enough. They got caught on the wrong side of the market. It happens to the best. It happens to the rest. People want some kind of utopian. Well, can I get a zero? No, even if you had zero spread and zero commissions, it doesn't mean you're not going to lose money trading. You could give somebody millions of dollars and they still lose. Yeah, so everybody kind of made money. The scalpers that sold into this have made their money. When do they think that this trade's over? So if you did sell here, do you really think in what world do you think this market's going to? Oh God, I'm just so pissed off at this mic stand. I just hate shit gear. I could just fucking take a hammer to it. We're still not past this 5-minute window. And at this point, because I did scalp, I'm going to put some new limits in. So, this is the flexibility. And this would be 8-hour tickets because I don't care. But see, that's only a 3K. Here's a $4 risk to make $4. So I'm risking $8 here for 8 hours. And here again, I don't think the market's closing. Of course, we could still have Dow Jones open and we could smack down here. But since I've made some money now, I can come back and do that same trade. I don't think we're going to come down there, but if we did, it would be even better, right? So these trades get better. They make more sense this way of trading for me because I don't know. I just can't imagine putting in an 80K, buying an 80K right now and going, let's get an 80K right now. Looks like we're going to pop up. No, you might make money on that trade, but to me, it's just defeats the purpose of a micro account. If you have a broker that lets you trade mini lots, which is probably a very tight spread, if you just keep pulling the trigger on minis, right, at 10K, then that's where I'd go. The next notch up, and you just trade less trades, right? And you have to. Here I can get stopped out of a portion of the trade and still retain some of it. So if they nick me out of a few trades in this way, I can keep track of how good I'm trading because, wow, that was a great cluster of orders I put in there, a very focused order cluster. That's fucking brilliant there. Whereas this, if I had down 10Ks, I'm like, I got to put in a wide stop because I got to be able to give the market enough room. I don't want to lose this ticket. I still think it's a good trade or I wouldn't have put it on. So these are all psychological issues blended with the fact that once you've figured out how you want to approach the market, do you want to babysit it and strictly pull the trigger? And you could make a lot of money doing that if you get the fuck out when you go, you know what, I just made money, get out. I can always get back in. But if you're going to buy and hold little positions, you're not going to survive. All we have to do is have some news come out when the market's open. And the Dow Jones is looking at, it may be a quiet day and we just make 20 pips. It has to be okay. You have to make it okay to make 20 pips as opposed to 80 because you can't always make 80 pips. And some of these rip-roaring moves are over with to some extent. I would say today is a bullish day. I'm hoping for the next 5 pips it's bullish so I can cash out and then start selling into it because I can't wait to sell into this. And it's only because of these limits because that I've been able to sell. The drop limits here, putting in huge baskets, I can drop a crop in here, and these are sell limits, and if they put them down here, they're buy limits. I don't have to think about, well, go to the buy script, go to the sell script. Fuck that. So here I just canvas the area, and if I see that I'm up on a trade on my phone, I can scale out one at a time. You know, it may seem like the right thing to do, but I'm like, you know what? Let me just scale out of this thing and pull off tickets and just go flat, because I go flat and then I can be like, well, I know exactly what my trade looks like. So I've banked the money. I can sit back and relax. And, you know, I think relaxing is going to make it easier to make clear decisions. But if you're freaking out because you don't understand why the market just dropped, look at this plunge here. I mean, get a load of this plunge, right? When this market drops into this, checks out this lonely wick, and there was a scalp in there just before it dropped, see? You could have scalped that all the way to here, or at least back into the fair value considered to be this spot. I think everybody was probably at least, well, you know, if it comes back to here, I'm okay. Just take that. When we go down to here, oh my God, right? Now, if you have the right trade plan, I would say on the hourly chart, here's supply, just on the wicks, supply, buy. Buy, if you only bought 3K, you bought one here, you bought one here. For that reason alone, that's your reason, is that this is an old low. You got filled on 2K. One here, one here. This one, if you're holding both of them, they're both winners, are they not? Imagine that you buy every 5 pips. Now, this is inconceivable to people that are trading standard lots, because I'm not going to put in, if you're putting standard lots in like that and you got enough money in the account, that's a great trade, right? Just a linear grid. Don't have to be we're going to buy 20K, 40K, a million, 4 million, 8 million. You could, right? If there's whatever $1 million in the account, and it's already predetermined that this $1 million is going to get out here, the 100K is going to get out here, 500, and everything gets out here, and it's over. The trade's over. You bought this vacuum, you dumped it, you're done. It actually went and overdid it, right? And it's breached into this. So all of these people say, what's this vacuum shit you talk about? Okay, well, there's a vacuum here. You just didn't see it. Now, if I zoom out in the big world, if you have this trade plan, you're sell, 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 even a linear grid, by the time you get up here, hopefully you're selling more up there because you keep front running the market. And if you sold every 4 hours, sell, big sell, then you cash out. And then if you held for this, even this ticket here becomes a winner here. Hard to believe. And that's swing trading. But on top of the swing trading, if you can scalp around your swing trades, then you can make a living. Right? Because you can always do both trades. Like right now, I got the buy limits sitting here, but I also got the sell limits in this, because this is the new kill zone. Is anything above here, there's a vacuum here, right? So you pop up here, you rip back to here, you cash out. That's the trade plan built into those tickets. So the problem comes is when people don't anticipate that when this thing comes rifling down and they get in too heavy in the beginning, and by the time the market closes here, and this is 4 hours hard down, of course, it actually, you can't see it in here, but it went down, up, then down. You buy heavy here, and this is the one I bought in the video last time, buy here, dump here, buy more here. Now this is the hard one, because people are like, it's going fucking lower? Why didn't it retrace to here? It's supposed to retrace, man. Don't you understand how these markets work? Like, And so people get caught in this idea that if it comes to here, then when it retraces to here, it did make it to there eventually. It's going to come to here, but you can't see it on the 4-hour chart, but it came here and then it ripped down and then it came to here. So if you can make, if your trade plan's set to make 30, 40 pips, you can make money in there. And if you only bought like super, like you're waiting for this and you're like, well, I missed it. You didn't really miss the entry. You might think you did, so somebody might chase it. Everybody's going to have a different trading mistake, so to speak. You're like, oh, fuck, look, it's going up. I knew it would. So you buy here, and then you put a stop in here, and they trounce it. But if you never rode that, you're like, oh, shit, I missed it. It's if you start chasing it on that small time frame. But if you didn't even ride it up there, you got to figure, well, if they ever take it back here, and this is the outlier, this is the one people, well, if they ever, that never happens, There's never a second chance to make a first impression, All these tropes that people carry into trading, like, oh, yeah, I remember that time. But look how beautiful all these sell traps are up here. Sell, sell, sell. And this is a range week, and this is the 4-hour chart, so we're talking about different structures. But yeah, if we can just go to here today, I'm happy, And I'll sell into that. Little scalp, little drama, stocks do whatever. I'm not going to try to sync the stock market up to this thing and all that. It doesn't seem like it's worth the time. So if you're going to trade these things, you can sit back. You could have put in, this is such a high density of tickets here, but you could just as easily have just tiny tickets in here. You got to sell 1K every 10, every 10 pips. You got sell, sell, sell. Let's see what happens. You got buy, buy, buy. You got 6K in there. No stops, maybe. Maybe stop out here. Master stop. See what happens. So when it comes to here, you're like, oh, fuck. But if your trade plan is to fill all 3 tickets, and this one becomes a winner eventually over here in time, just like the same scenarios here. So it's, I don't know if that helps, but anyways, I gotta go get back to my boring lifestyle here. I'm listening, the birds are done tweeting. I'm trying to make about $50 this morning. So they're cashing me out the whole time. This is drifting up now. I'm getting cashed out automatically, which is a beautiful thing. All right. I'm coming up into my sell limits. So there's that. It's 1/4 after. I'm definitely happy that they're cashing me out of something here. I almost feel like cashing out of the whole thing. So in 1 minute, it's going to be 15 minutes. If I go to the half hour, still ripping north. And here just to, like I said, I wouldn't do this with real money, but just to make a point, I'm going to cash out because it is 15 minutes. On the 15-minute basis, I just went flat. So I'm totally out of the market. Now I have the flexibility to do this. And here's the beauty of being able to cash out, go flat, come back. This guy was talking about how you make money. Yeah, just get the fuck out of that trade, because if it ever comes back here, it's a great trade, right? Now I could continue north, but that's okay. And I can, at this point, I would say, since I have such exposure here, let me delete these tickets because I don't want to get in front of that too hard. My first sell should be above this. And that's that. Right now I could pop up there, and now I do have, since I'm flat, I have free margin. I've made some money, and I can trade both sides towards the middle now. But I'm going to close out these tickets. I want to start selling really heavy up here now, so I get more money left over, because I made so much money there. Okay, so there's that. And I'm long on real money, but here I just to use this as a a flexibility instrument of like, it's okay to get out. It's okay not to be in the market. We don't have to ride this thing, and let's just experiment. And we have a real money stuff, tried and true, but then maybe you experiment with real money and you trade conservative on the demo, and you see how your mind reacts to the different approach, right? You're up on your demo. I'm up on my real money today. It's crazy. So you always have to have a rehearsal that you would do if you're, you people, that actors, I suppose, get in front of the mirror and they, want to be convincing. And then you go on stage, right? So you go on stage, you're in the market trading, maybe at the market, or you're putting in these limits, and you're okay, here we go. Let's see if this is really going to work, And that is the thing, if it's a performance, if trading is a performance art in that sense, unless you're driving your Lamborghini because you made so much money trading and scalping, it's crazy. So that depends, right? But here I think order placements, this is the trick. This is more of a very meticulous, plotted out strategies. These are, logical to me. Price support and resistance trading is supposed to, supply and demand trading, really. We know there's sellers up there. We know there's buyers down there. And we just, trade plans are based on that. If I'm babysitting the entry, though, I will trade at the market. In other words, we smash up and it comes flying back. I'm scalping out. I'm gonna close all profits because I have so much more inventory above. If we keep popping into new highs, if he'll pull back. I am trading at the market in that sense, only for profits though. I'm not entering at the market, but I am cashing out. So in a sense, I'm saying, oh, I'm a seller. As soon as we come ripping back, I become a buyer. Like we come up and they sell limits, come ripping back, and I go, you know what? I'm bullish all of a sudden. Yeah, it's crazy because of what's going on. Okay, so there's that. All right. Let's go back to sleep.